you talk a little bit about the mission of Catholic Charities of Southern Nevada?
Sure. I don't know the complete. I have one. I should read my cheat sheet there now. But basically, Catholic Charities of Southern Nevada is known to give help and hope in the community. We have 24 different programs that basically provide services that sustain human dignity in all persons.
How long has it been in operation?
This is a special year for Catholic Charities. We actually celebrated our 70th year anniversary. So we opened our doors in 1941 with our social services as well as adoption program.
Wow, that's a long time. Can you talk at all about how it's funded?
Sure. In terms of the whole agency, certainly, again, we have 24 different programs. So we receive, our funding comes from various sources, mainly from federal, state, county, city funding. In addition to that, we also receive support from private foundations as well as individual donors from the community.
Great. Let's talk specifically about refugee services.
Sure.
What kind of services does Refugee Services provide?
Our work actually begins prior to the refugees arriving. We basically receive biodata informing us of possible refugees that can be resettled here in Las Vegas. So what we do then is we review those biodata, and based on the strengths and the weaknesses of our city, then determine who we can successfully resettle here. After that, once we send that verification, we would usually get arrival notices upon their arrival here. And what we do then is set up an apartment. Basically, we're providing them with their basic necessities. So we're setting up their apartments prior to their arrival here. Once they're here, we welcome them by picking them up at the airport, bringing them to their apartment, providing them with housing orientation. And then the next day, we then bring them back in the office here and introduce them to their case manager, who would then provide them with assistance in how to begin their life here, to a point that we're providing them with cultural orientation, as well as doing an assessment to really address the barriers that they may have here, such as language, for instance, is one of their major barriers. So in addition to case management, to address the language barrier, we then have mandatory ESL classes for them that they attend. In addition to that, they're also assigned a job developer who assists them with employment services.
Can you talk numbers at all?
Sure.
How many female refugees has Catholic Charities Refugee Services assisted, say, in the last year or 10 years?
Sure.
I don't know what data you have.
Since January of 2009, we actually resettled 534 refugees. Out of that, 217 were female refugees. So you're looking into a percentage of maybe 41% of all of our arrivals happening to be women.
What are the long-term goals for female refugees now living in Las Vegas? What is it that you all hope they achieve?
Sure. The ultimate goal is for them to achieve economic self-sufficiency, certainly. And ultimately, out of that, we want them to become productive members in the community. And that's not only our goal, but we actually see them as their goal. They're very quick in wanting to get back in the community and really want their independence for the main part. So in doing that, they're finding jobs pretty quickly. They're learning the English language pretty well. But our ultimate goal for them is just that we want them to fit in this community and basically just get back.
The segment that I'm working on focus on women's roles in conflict. Do you know, have you heard anything about this, how women are becoming targets in conflict?
Sure. In the position that I am, I pretty much hear more of the general as opposed to the more vivid stories that our case managers are probably better to share with you. But in regards to that, what we're finding is that there's some of them that we have resettled who have been exposed to not only physical but sexual violence, certainly. And those were just some horrifying stories really to hear about. Aside from that, they also share stories in regards to them losing their loved ones right in front of them. Some families you're going to hear in regards to their husband being killed in front of them, as well as their siblings being kidnapped, that type of thing.
again, this may be a question that maybe doesn't apply directly to you, but I'll
Sure.
pose it and see how you feel about it. Women's roles in peacekeeping efforts. Is this something that you've heard or seen or have had any witness to?
Sure, certainly more on a general or a national level. What I'm actually finding is that people who have experiences in regards to being targets of conflict certainly are being asked to basically share their stories. In doing that, it's basically giving some people some hope. And out of that, and them sharing their stories also, it also provides different organizations to really try to find some solutions in how they can resolve the issues.
Why should people that are seeing this segment that maybe aren't familiar at all with this subject, why should they be concerned with the female refugees here in Las Vegas?
Quite honestly with you, I don't necessarily see why anyone would be concerned um, in regards to watching this segment. For the main part, these are just regular females that you're going to see in the community who has the hope of wanting a better life for their families, basically. These, what I've met are just some really brave women who really just want to basically pick up where they left off, but in a different environment, certainly. Um, they have the same goals as what I have for my son, and that's to have a better future for him, better life, being able to provide for him.